Okay, we're going to work on a histogram here. Okay, and what we have to do to make it to create a histogram is we have to organize everything. Okay, so right now we have a whole bunch of numbers and they're extremely unorganized.
Yeah.
Okay, the first thing we actually have to find out is the range of the histogram. And a range, let's put this down. A range talks about the lowest and highest number. Okay. So we have to sift through all of this. We got to look through all of it and try to figure out, okay, what is our lowest number and what is our highest number? Okay, so let's kind of go through this quickly. What do we got? Okay, 30. Anything higher? Yeah, 33, 40. That's better. 40.
48 down.
Where's 48? 48.4.
Yeah, 46.
That looks like it, right? So it looks like 48.4 is going to be our highest number. Okay, so let's
get
highlight it.
47.3 from?
I'll show you. So here's our highest number, 48.4. What was our lowest number?
1. Oh, I get it. 1.1.
Okay.
And if you subtracted it.
Exactly.
And then,
okay. So our range is technically, this is our range. It's from 1.1 to 48.4. But if we want to know how large the range is, okay. So they may ask you, how large is the range? How large is the range? Well, in order to figure out how large the range is, we have to find the difference of the two numbers, right? So we need to put down 48.4, subtracted by 1.1. Okay. And we do our subtraction. Well, 4 subtract 1 is 3. We bring down the decimal. 7, 8 subtract 1, and 4. So how large our range is that number there. It's 47.3. So that's the size of our range. Okay? So entire page. So that's what we got so far. We have our lowest and our highest number, 1.1. Our highest number is 48.4. And our range is 47.3. Okay? Now, to create a histogram, histograms deal with ranges instead of exact numbers, because none of these numbers are the same, right? If I was to make, it's like a bar graph is what a histogram is going to look like. So I'll kind of set it up here on the side and just give you an example. So let's say we have this. Okay, but when we're doing it, and I'm going to zoom in a little, look at all these numbers, right? None of them are the same. So if I was to actually make a bar graph using these numbers,
we did make a bar. Oh wait, no.
We haven't done that yet. Okay, and a histogram is a bar graph, but it's a special type of bar graph. Okay, because let's say this represented 1, 2. These are all going to disappear in a second. 4 or 5, right? Well, how many 1.1s are there? Well, there's only one. How many maybe 2.3s are? Well, 1. You're just going to have a graph like this. Everything is going to be 1, and there's going to be like 48 different numbers. This graph doesn't help us at all.
Yeah.
Okay? So what we have to figure out is we're going to group things. We want to make up sets of groups. So I'm going to change this color here. And because this goes from 1.1 to 48, let's try to make round groups. So really we want one group to be, obviously has to incorporate the lowest number. Okay? So what can be our lowest number we'll start with in our range? A round, even, whole number.
0.
Yeah, 0 is a great one to start with, okay? And then the very last number we're going to end with, what was a nice round one, close to 48.4?
49 or 50?
50. 50 is a nice round number, right? So let's go with 50. Well, let's think of types of division. What's a nice way to count up to 50? By what? Counting by a certain number. And
10?
Yeah, and technically we could do anything. We could count by 5s, right? But then we're going to have a lot more bars in this case for our bar graph. But 10 is probably a nice one. So what we're going to do is we're going to have one range from 0 to 10. Another range is going to go from 11 to 20.
Wait, they were arguing about this in class, and they told me, so Mr. Leitman said 0.10, the 0 to 10, then 10 to 20.
Well,
on my book it says 0 to 20 and then 20 to 20.
Oh, okay. You know why they've done this? And this is a good point, and I should put it up. Technically, there's numbers in between. Okay? What's between 10 and 11? Well, let's see if we can find any. Do they have any like that?
Oh, I get it.
Technically, 10.5 would fall there, and then where do we put that in the range? So really, because this is decimals, that's an excellent point, and I'm going to erase these, set up another range here. Technically, it should be to 10, and then really, it should almost be like exactly 10, and then anything just a little bit greater than 10. So you would almost say like 10.01 to 20. Does that idea make sense?
Yeah.
And that's how we set up our ranges, okay? So what I'm going to do, and let's set up how many we have here. 10.01, then we have a 20.01 to 30, 30.01 to 40, and then 40.01 to 50. Okay, so let's highlight these. We're going to organize them. We'll keep the 0 to 1 yellows, and 48.4, we'll change that color to green here. So that'll be this range here.
Okay.
Anything we highlight with that. Blue will be this range. What else we got? Purple. And what's another color we can use? Maybe this turquoise here.
Turquoise.
Oh, that's kind of similar to the other one. What's another one? Red's really dark. Oh, let's do orange. Light orange. There you go. That's a good one. So let's kind of quickly go through this. 0 to 10, well, 8.7. Nothing else there. 6.7. What's that?
Put in a chart.
We're going to put it in a chart, but we need to figure out how many there are in that range.
Oh,
so that's why we're highlighting them.
What's that chart called? He named this something.
This could be a table or... I'm not sure what the name of that is. Well, we'll put it into a card. Let's figure out how many there are. So 0 to 10, let's keep going. Well, 7.1 falls in there. 9.7. That looks like it. So how many were that? 5. Okay, so you're right. We can make a little chart here. We can move this bar graph down a little. Or this histogram, I should say. Down. Okay, and we'll make a little chart. So in our first range, here we go. Make a little bar graph. And here are our ranges. Well, our first range was 0 to 10-ish. We'll just say 10 to 20. We don't have to write those little numbers in, right? 30 to 40, and then last one is 40 to 50. Okay, so these are our ranges, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And this is our number, the number of numbers in that range. Well, how many were from 0 to 10?
5.
We figured that out, 5. So let's jump back up again. All right, blue highlighter. We need from essentially anything greater than 10 but less than 20. So tell me what you see as we go through. 19?
Yep.
Okay. 14? 16?
And 11.
And 11. So how many were there?
4.
4. All right, so let's put that up. Number 4 is in there. Next, 20 to 30. So 30 is going to fall in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So highlighter, that's purple. Well, 30 falls in there.
Yeah.
23. What else?
27.
Yeah. What else?
22.
Good.
29.
Yeah. That looks like it. How many purples are there?
5.
Okay. About 5 purples. 30 to 40. Right? Anything with a 30 on it, that's the orange group, right? Tell me if you see any numbers.
33.
31.
33. 30.
Yeah.
39.
Yeah.
33.
All right. How many oranges do we have?
5.
5 again. Perfect. Oh, this is pretty.
It's 5 again.
Oh, is it in the last one? Obviously, now for the last one, it's pretty much, unless we've made an error, the rest of them should all fall under there. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's just double check. Well, yeah, 40.1, that's one of them. 40.3, 40.6, 48.4, and 45. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect.
Yay.
So now we've gone through them all.
5.
And we have our range. Yeah, it looks like they're all roughly the same. So let's build our histogram, or essentially, which is a bar graph. We're just still a histograph, not a histogram. Sorry.
Why do they call it a histogram?
Because of the way it's set up. A bar graph measures one type of information, while this one measures a range.
Oh, that's what they call it. I get it.
Yeah. So our very first range is going to be the range of 0 to 10. And then from 10 to 20, 20 to 30, yep,
40 to 50.
and 40 to 50. So that's all of those. And they'll all kind of be within this area, okay? And then our numbers will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we'll use our lines. Well, how many were there from 0 to 10? I'm going to zoom out just
5.
a little. 75 there. Yeah, that's 5. So we'll make our bar graph too long. How many from 10 to 20?
4.
4. How many?
The rest is 5.
And the rest are 5? Well, that makes this nice and easy. I'm going to cheat. go right to the
That's what I
end.
did.
Nice. Well, it's an easy way to do it. And this is essentially, oh, that wasn't very good. And this is essentially what a histogram is. Okay, it's the same type of bar graph. Maybe we should highlight them in their colors, just so it's a little more organized. Okay, that was these guys. Green was the last one. Help us a little here. Blue was the second one. Poor blue only had 4.
Purple.
Purple.
Then orange.
And then finally, I gotta find orange. There it is. The orange. And that's it. That's what a histogram is. But there is a lot of stuff you had to do. Okay, let's recap quickly. So, first thing we needed to do was find the range, the lowest and the highest number. Okay. And then we found how large the range was. Well, the range was 47.3. We subtracted the highest from the lowest. And then we set up ranges, or different quadrants, you could say, or areas. Okay. So we had one range from 0 to 10. And the reason we set this up is because we knew we went from 0 to 50. So we thought of a good number to skip count by, you could say, 10s. Well, we'll make each range 10 long. The ranges have to be the same distance. You couldn't make this range 0 to 10 and then this range 10 to 15. And then the next one's 15 to 30. Those are all different ranges. That wouldn't be a good graph. It wouldn't give you a true measurement of each of them between each other, okay? Then we set up kind of our table here, so we knew how many there were. And then essentially we set up our bar graph. Does that make sense? Okay, good.